Do you ever wonder if Jesus is maybe just being sort of like Pollyanna and childishly optimistic when he says, love your neighbors? Like, how's that going to work? Let's think about that today on Now at Devotions from Trinity Lutheran in Cyrus. I'm on my way to go work out here in Morrison. We're thinking about the book of Luke today. It's chapter 6. I think it starts at verse 27. Jesus has just identified the apostles and then preached to crowds and healed tons of people. And then he says to his apostles and to the crowd, to all these disciples, he says, and I say to you, love your enemies. Those who curse you, who persecute you, love them. And in our world, sometimes it seems like that is just so unrealistic. Ooh, it's still pretty cold. I'm a little fogged up here. I'll tell you, some years ago, when I was little, I just about drowned in my uncle's pool. We were visiting in Tucson, and they had a pool out there, and I was maybe, 8. And I'd had some swimming lessons and all that stuff, but I kind of fell asleep or was napping on a floaty, and I floated out to the deep end. And when I came to and woke up, I slipped off, and I couldn't swim, not well. And so my aunt at the time ran out, grabbed me by the hair. I had long curly hair, and pulled me out of the pool. She saved my life. After that, it was time for swimming lessons. And I remember wondering, why would I have to do this? This doesn't make any sense. How could anyone, why would you swim? How does swimming work? Like, I just remember thinking about that. It sounded like the dumbest thing in the world to me. And yet, now I'm an active swimmer. I think sometimes when the Bible asks us to do hard things, we will rule them out as being unrealistic or impossible, or, it must have been easy for them, but it's hard for us. Jesus today, when he asks these folks, love your enemies, hate those who persecute you, it is not like he is asking a group of people who've got it easy. These folks have it so much harder than we do, so much dramatically harder than we do. And these folks are often on the losing end of society, of money, of all these things. Many of them have been sick and needed help, and that was why he was there to help them, to heal them. In fact, I would take it a step further and say that Jesus knows exactly where this leads. He is not one to ask us to do what he has not done himself. And so I wonder, in a time when it feels like it's very hard to love those who hate us or curse us or to turn the other cheek, it feels like if we do that, well, won't they just be responsible, or there's a slippery slope, or there'll be no consequences, or things will be unjust, or we'll get hurt or taken advantage of. This week, I want to think further than that. I want to think all the way through it. So in preaching this week, we'll do that. But just for now, what if he knows exactly what he's talking about? What if he's not interested in people amplifying hate by responding to hate with hate? What if instead we would say, no, we're going to let God be in charge of some of these consequences, and we instead are not going to accept the consequence of taking a step away from God and into hate to protect ourselves. Instead, we take a step towards love to end a cycle. That's your thought for this week. What might it look like to love your enemies? And is that particularly convicting right now? I found it convicting for me this week. Is it convicting for you? Why? Those are areas we should be paying to attention as faithful people who want to walk with God. I'm Pastor Chris from Trinity Lutheran in Cyrus, signing off.